Welcome to Conversations with Lauren and Ali, where we bridge all things in the spiritual and human experience.
This is a space where raw honesty meets higher truth, where personal stories open doors to deeper self-awareness, and where the messy, magical journey of being human is honoured as a sacred path of awakening. So, take a breath, get cozy, and join us in today's conversation.
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
how's your week been?
Look, it's been she's been wild.
Has it? Yeah.
I just have been back in the depths of me again.
Yeah.
I think, it's this I'm gonna call it the beautiful contraction that comes after the expansion.
Mm.
And I think, and I can't even remember, do you need to go?
No, keep going.
I can't even remember what I shared with you last time, or if I did, and I've lost all track of time in terms of knowing when all of this happened. Um, but I had this really beautiful kind of experience of feeling a bit of a soul swap kind of happen, probably is the
Yes.
best way to explain
Yeah.
that. And she came with a lot of power in the sense of she came to lead, she came to have her voice heard and be seen, and she was not mucking about. Like she was, actually, we did talk about
Yeah,
this.
we did. Yeah. Yeah.
So as I've been integrating with that, which felt good and felt aligned, like obviously aligned and it was coming in really easily. There was also that moment of contraction when my body and my nervous system went, what's happening? What's going
This,
on?
this is a lot.
Um,
Yeah.
this is a lot. And of course, that just squeezed up some more stuff from the depths, within of parts of me or programs, patterns, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, beliefs, emotion, memories that couldn't be in the space with that energy. So it created um, a few days. Thankfully, I'm now, like as of yesterday, I've kind of come through the other side of it. But there was a few days there where it was like wanting to rip out of my body, rip out of my skin, because it was like I can't do this anymore.
Mm.
Because I was getting frustrated as well. Because that voice, that powerful knowing who I am is, and because obviously oversoul connection to oversoul is much stronger. And it's like, I can't keep going through this. I don't want to keep going through this. And there was frustration at the parts of me that were still not on board with what was happening.
Mhm.
And I had to just let myself sit in that for a few days and be with that and just kind of acknowledge and accept what was coming up, because I kept getting guidance of letting things just rise. Like it it's like just let it rise and let it go. Stop holding on and stop creating that suffering for yourself. Like there's this real energy of um a program around the suffering that comes through this experience. And I know we've talked about that a lot, and I'm seeing
Yeah.
it. What I'm really loving too is this the synchronicity and the confirmation that's coming through all my client sessions when something's happening,
Yeah.
because this has been coming in for a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
But it's the releasing of the need to suffer, to sacrifice for the human experience. And just even this whole, like they've been saying to me, it's how I'm navigating the expansion and the contraction, and learning to also help my field and my body sustain what the expansion is bringing through. Because
Mm.
it's like, yeah, you're getting the expansion and you're holding it. Like this time, I felt like I maybe held it for a week or so before the rubber band went, like pinged back and flicked
Mm.
me.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to learn that as part of this, this is why the rest as in the as through the integration or the slowing down is important, because what you're doing, well, this is what was coming for me was not sorry, was allowing space for this to stabilize in my nervous system, in my body, and obviously to resolve anything, like I said, that's pushing out from
Mm.
subconscious or unconscious through the body. So they really highlighted to me as well, like it's one thing to be doing all of the emotional body, mental body stuff that I'm doing, or energetic stuff, but I am still forgetting, and it's like, duh, because this is what I do, but I'm still forgetting to allow space for the body to actually process that and to stabilize what I'm holding in my field with my body. And so that didn't necessarily, knowing that, make it any more comfortable during
Right.
those portions, but it helped me actually reach that point of clarity and understanding about, okay, this is just another layer of the cycle that I'm learning how to navigate,
Hmm.
um, so that it can be more easeful, because I'm also letting go. I think I was telling myself a story too. Oh, this is the contraction, and the contraction shit, and it's going to be this, it's going to be that. So it's actually clearing the slate on what the contraction is and what it looks like. And
Mm.
instead I'm saying, okay, well, what are some empowering practical tips and things that I can fall back on, that I can use to actually navigate that with more
Yeah.
ease and peace and comfort through the body.
Mm.
Um, so it's been a really incredible, now that I'm here, an incredible learning experience.
Mm.
Um, and I don't know whether it will ever actually pass, or whether I'll just learn to navigate it better,
Yeah.
because it feels like it's becoming friends with the whole
Process.
process and cycle, and
Yeah.
then just relating to that a little bit differently.
Yes.
Um, and like we talked about, with what you were experiencing last week and through this week, because we're so in this realm of focus of embodiment. And even what's come into my temple community for this month is also about embodied sovereign expression. They also were reminding me of that crossover of like, this is what it is, this is what you're doing, and you're just now focusing on it. You thought you were doing it before, but
Yeah.
this is now the embodiment, and this is embodying that sovereign expression, um, to bring to really bring all of the presence to the primordial power, which means I'm still going to feel like in the depths of the depths of the depths, there's still stuff that's going to be rising. But instead of focusing on it, what I was shown was like tapping into my field, that in like the toroidal field, which I'd kind of
Mhm.
forgotten too, but they were
Mm.
showing me like the cycling of that, and just the process of like letting whatever's not in alignment, or what's rising, to just simply like go out, and then the rest keeps circling, and what comes out, like breathing, just like breathing, it
Yeah.
becomes second nature. So I'm practicing like with that to see how that goes, um, because that's something I have done on and off over this journey, but not, with the intention and the clarity and the awareness that I think is here right now.
Yes. Wow. What a powerful, I don't like the word lesson, but learning,
Mm,
maybe,
mm,
remembrance,
mhm,
whatever you want to call it,
mhm,
that this past like week or two has been, like you said, we've been in this embodiment phase, like
mhm,
for, I don't know, a lot of us this whole year or, in
mhm.
recent months. And now it's like in this last week, everything that you just described that you went through, or the last couple of weeks, it's like really landed as a profound learning, hasn't it? Like you
Yeah,
said, it's not about, it's that, and it makes sense because we've been talking about the expansion, the contraction, and then the coming back to center, or the, which is essentially the embodiment, isn't it?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like the expansion, the contractions, the integration
Hmm.
period where, things
Hmm.
are still being released and all that kind of thing, then coming back, the up leveling or the embodiment. And it's getting rid of and letting, I think part of, like you were saying, you were letting things come to the surface and letting everything be released that needed to be released, that just doesn't fit in, that can't be
Mhm.
in that space anymore. It's not aligned to be in that space. It's almost like part of that process of the letting go was letting go of the programming as well that you hold around suffering and thinking that integration has to be shit.
Mhm.
Integration always has to be uncomfortable. And yeah, let's be real, like a lot of the time it is, because we're also talking about, like you said, the physical body, like our physical
Mhm.
body is adjusting to the shifts as well. It's not just doing the energetic work, where we're talking about embodiment. So of course
Mhm.
you're going to feel it here. But like you said, just having that awareness and understanding and clarity around the cycle itself,
Mhm.
that is all I could hear when you were talking. I was like, yeah, how
Mhm.
powerful is that to understand with clarity how simple that process really is when you look at it. And that's kind of the cycle that we go through when we're moving through these big shifts.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I think that the understanding helps the mind. It helps
Yeah.
the body too.
Hmm.
Because I actually think that was a big part of what it was like, okay, right, this is what's happening. We know this is happening.
Yeah.
So let's just be with that. It helped me
Yeah.
surrender to it a little bit more
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
And then I remembered, oh, these are some of the things that I used to do to help myself through these phases. So it was like I brought back some of the ways of moving my body, connecting with my body, and sort of
Mhm.
honoring my body. And it's funny because the other day in a client session, I had a client who was dealing with some chronic pain, and we were just talking through what might be there because she was like, what's the lesson? Is there a lesson here that I'm supposed to be with? And what was coming back too was it's not about a lesson, it's about
Yeah.
presence with me, presence with the body. Like her body spoke to her and said, I just want to be appreciated. I just want to be seen. I want to be felt. And so all of the emotion that she was sort of feeling, her body was echoing back and saying, well, this
Mm.
is how I feel too. But they were
Yeah.
sort of on two separate pages. And so it also made me think about how we still, even though we're bringing ourselves into that presence embodiment, the alignment, mind, body, heart, soul, that there is still parts of us that see the body as something separate or see like it needing fixing. It's broken because I have a lot of clients that refer to that. I'm broken. Like it's the way, it's this way that we, and I don't know, maybe a program, but a way that we relate to the body instead of coming into almost like it's, I don't even want to use the word unity, but I just feel like it's like a partnership. It's like team. It's like that kind of energy.
Yes. Yeah, it's the bridging, like we're always talking about, of our divinity and our physicality, our light body and our physical body. Like this is what we're working with embodiment. That's exactly what
Mm.
we've been speaking about, for a long time. So it's interesting that you've got lots of clients that are coming in with talking about pain and talking about
Mhm.
the physical body. And like I know I've already voiced this to you. I've just been through, like I'm just coming out the other side of not feeling very well. I've Last week when we spoke, I was half asleep and I had an
Mhm.
earache and sore
Mhm.
throat and I was exhausted. And I kept thinking to myself and saying, okay, it's my ear. What am I not hearing? What is the message? What am I supposed to be hearing here? And I was really kind of trying to attune to but I kept thinking outside of the body. And I
Mhm.
think I wasn't paying attention that it was actually my ear trying to tell me that there was something else going on in my body, which I found out was very low iron levels, making me feel exhausted. But if it wasn't for my ear and my throat getting my attention and making me eventually go to a doctor, I wouldn't, and get a blood test, I wouldn't have, you know, maybe not as quickly picked up on, oh yeah, my iron's really low. And
Mhm.
I think that it was a really big, I said that to you, it was a really big lesson for me too around listening
Mhm.
to the body. Like the body is, I think because I've always been so healthy and I've always been so, my body's always been so capable, I go to the
Mhm.
gym like a good few times a week. I love exercising. I love keeping my body strong and in that way. But I think I neglect it. And I think a lot of us probably
Mhm,
probably do. It's just there. It just is. It's just
mhm.
always been there. It gets us around, but we really don't, like you said, the people's bodies are saying to them, I'm here. You're not listening to me. You're not appreciating me. This is the vessel that allows us to have this
Yeah.
experience, to be here. We're in a body. And I think we really do. We forget that. And I know I voiced to you that there's been a few things going on with my body that I just ignore because I'm like, oh,
Mm.
it's not major. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. But then when it all comes to a head, you realize, wow, the body really is, it really is speaking to us, isn't it?
And it always is, isn't it? I mean, that was interesting too with this client. Her body was saying the pain was really its way of communicating. It was a signal
Yeah.
to her
Yeah,
of
like
like,
help me or like hello.
hey,
Yeah.
a bit like the inner voice can be with the inner child or that inner
Yeah.
subconscious ego mind. Um, and so it's just interesting too. There's been a weaving in of some old, like a lot of people are seeing some old injuries coming, or pain coming through the body from things, a long time ago and recirculating, myself included.
Mm,
And it also was coming into my awareness too that this is this other um, moment of just letting something be what it is. Like sometimes it's like just feeling into it. What is the experience? What's the message? Is there a lesson or is there something that's needing attention? Or are
hmm.
you just ready to have this witnessed and acknowledged and to allow it to be released? Because
Yeah.
I think too that we focus so much on digging into things as well that we
Yeah.
forget sometimes the simplicity of something.
Yeah.
Literally, at the more we descend, as we spoke about last time,
Mm,
the more we descend, we bring the light to the darkness. What
mhm.
isn't that is going to just rise to the surface.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, yes, sometimes the bigger the expansion, the more intense the contraction is.
Mhm.
But again, what if we took it in this path? Well, I'm just going further within, which means the deeper emotion, beliefs, programs, or threads of subconscious whatever is just rising to the surface and just allowing it, as I said, coming back to this idea of the continual flow and the continual circulation
Mhm.
and breathing it through and breathing it and out. And I feel like I always have to make this disclaimer, medical disclaimer.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
like we're not doctors. Um, and this is in the context of running this through your own discernment because like you have
Yeah.
found there is a place where medical intervention is
Intervention.
needed.
Yeah.
And this is a holistic approach. So
Yes.
this is
That's the
taking
word.
a
Yeah.
holistic approach to
Hmm.
to this. So I'm not saying for 1 second this is the answer to
Yeah.
everybody's pain, or it's as
No.
simple as that. But it's opening that dialogue, it's opening the conversation, it's speaking to your body like you would your higher self, your oversoul, or your
Hmm.
guides. Like speak to your body in the same
Yeah.
way.
And it will
Mm.
direct you in the right way.
Yeah,
You will
yeah,
know, oh, like I did last week, oh shit, I need to go to the doctor.
yeah.
I need to like once you sort of acknowledge what's happening and you acknowledge the
Hmm.
body, it's something about that. It's almost like a surrender again, I suppose, of like,
Hmm.
okay, something's going on here, just let me know what it is, and the clarity just comes, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, wow,
Hmm.
that's really cool what you spoke about, the um that soul swap, because I remember you telling me about it when you first sort of felt it happen. Like that was linked to New Zealand, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it came as part of that. I think I had to integrate those couple of aspects, one parallel and the Andromedan, and there was something else that came through, and I can't remember what that was now, but it was in that post-integration of New Zealand that this came forward, and I understood what was happening because it was the aspect of me that was like, and I saw that aspect where she was timid, submissive, didn't, head down, hunched over, didn't want to use her voice, wanted to hide away. And this was the complete opposite. And this energy of the aspect coming through was so fiery in that, like it felt like fire because it was
Yeah,
just
that's what
that,
you were saying. I remember that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just that immense power. And so
Yeah.
it's been interesting because I feel like I've been integrating that through this, like still, even though I thought I had. but I think that part of that integration is still happening through that control, this contraction. Um, because I've been feeling the heat, like I've been feeling, it was almost like a hot flush type energy. And I
Yeah.
was almost going to surrender to the fact of this is menopause.
This is menopause. Yeah.
But there was something that, and maybe it is to some degree, because I'm trying not to like discount anything, but I'm also trying to shape my experience with it because that doesn't, I think I've said to you right from the beginning, I don't want the traditional
Yeah.
stories to be my
Hmm.
stories.
No. Yeah.
But I do believe that what's happened with this and that fiery energy was a lot of transmuting, obviously, and alchemizing. And
Hmm.
so
It
some of
came
that
in
I was
hot.
feeling, yeah, and some of that I was feeling physically for that first sort of portion of her coming in. And then I think it was triggering the imposter. It was triggering the imposter.
Yeah, because
And
it
it
was
was
the opposite of that. It was the
yeah.
leader. Yeah.
And it was funny because I have been really getting comfortable with my social media. I've been really getting comfortable with my content. I've been playing with like recording my soul musings and um, like starting to really plan and starting to really flesh things out and seeing how all of it is weaving through everything that I do. So, like the theme that I'm tapping into through my membership is weaving through everything. Of course, like I don't know why I didn't think it wouldn't, but how I'm like working with that and how actually it's easeful because it's not like having one bit here, one bit here, one bit here, one bit here. It's like they all kind of flow in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So it was interesting that that's what came forward was this resistance to being seen once more, sharing my voice not being, I've had a lot of throat stuff coming through, like not getting sick or anything. I don't know if you can even hear today, but my throat, my voice is like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sounds croakier or something
yeah,
like
yeah.
deeper.
It comes and goes. It comes and goes.
Yeah.
And it has different sound, different pitch.
Mm.
And I cough. I've been coughing stuff up, like literally feels like I'm coughing something
Wow.
from deep within. I actually was on a walk the other day and I was so embarrassed because it just came out of nowhere. And I didn't have, like, often I do carry some water and I didn't have anything. And I had to just sit down and, like, literally sound like someone that was
Cough up a
maybe
lung.
dying. Yeah. But it was like, kind of throwing something up, but energetically. And I've never
Hmm.
had it that intense before. Um, but yeah, it was just questioning everything that I'm doing, that I'm channeling, that I'm not I'm not enough, that I'm not enough, and nothing I do is enough. It was this feeling of like that comparison and judgment and all of that criticism sort of rolled into one. But it wasn't coming outside of me. It was coming from within me. It was
Yeah.
it was
Your
all
lungs,
my yeah,
heart. Yeah.
yeah, it was all me. And I'll be honest, that particular day, I think I was just talking about with the coughing, and a couple of days before that was over the weekend. Was over the weekend. I actually started to question I was having a heart attack because the pain within my heart space, you know how we know when something's physical and something's energetic.
Yeah.
This was borderline because I was also getting a lot of shortness of breath and I was getting some discomfort down. I can't remember which arm it was now. And I was walking and I could kind of feel myself like, I don't walk very fast. My walking is for mental health. My walking is
Yeah.
for just getting
Strolling.
out, yeah, and just being
Yeah.
present and um, because it makes me feel good. And I almost felt like I was dragging. Actually, it might have been my right side because I feel like my right leg started to almost drag, and I was like, something's not feeling right, and I was starting to panic.
Yeah.
I was starting to panic, and I found somewhere to sit down because I'm like, I'm going to have to ring Keely. I'm going to have to ring her and tell her to come and get me. Luckily, she was at home. But then I just sat there. I sat there and I just let myself be and was like feeling into understanding too that because of this soul swap, my heart space is cracked open again. I don't know if that ever stops. Okay, I've been saying that to people as well because I feel like it's constantly opening another layer, opening another layer, opening another layer. Anyway, I don't even know. I sat there for a really long time and then I felt okay to like go again. And I realized as I was walking back that it was the panic attack. It was the way I used to feel a panic attack from maybe 5 years ago, which makes me feel emotional to say it. And I'm not really sure why, but it was the first indication that some of the old stuff that I used to experience physiologically was coming forward again,
Yeah. Hmm.
partly too, because that can't come with me, like the headaches, because I think I spoke to you about the headaches
Yeah.
a week or two ago. And I had declared in that moment or at some time that I'm done with that. Like
Yeah.
I don't, that's not something I'm taking with me anymore
Hmm.
because I was understanding the contraction. I was understanding that it was the contraction of my mind creating this like lock up freeze response. And I think what I inadvertently did was set that intention as well through this embodiment that anything I wasn't going to experience physiologically the way that I had done before. And so this is where the penny started to drop with what was happening. And I realized, as I said, oh, this is actually like panic attacks without going into the full kind of breakdown, but it was the start of those physical sensations. And I can feel my body reacting and heating up to that as I say that because we're transmuting it, we're alchemizing it because that's no longer the response that I carry to. Because what was happening too was I was in a particular position in my corporate where I was made to feel really uncomfortable. My face is even flushing up. Was made to feel really uncomfortable. Um, there was a lot of pressure from senior management to do certain things that were not in the role that I was in that I was not comfortable with, but they wouldn't let me move to another position. So I was in a rock and a hard place because they're like, you have to do this, this, and this. And I'm saying, well, I don't want to. Let me go somewhere else. And they wouldn't give me that permission to go. So my anxiety started to increase because every day it was like, what's it going to be like today? Or what's going to happen today? And I began to feel like, because it was triggering me too, to being picked on. Um, and so any little mistake I made, well, I started to make more, put it that way. So any little mistake suddenly became a big thing to me. And so if I made a mistake and realized I made the mistake, I would do what I'm doing right now. My body would flush up and I would start to get lightheaded. The anxiety would start. And of course, that started because that happened more frequently. It happened to the point where I started to have panic attacks in the office. And I mean, look, eventually that's what came to a head because that was like I went to my doctor and or a doctor and I happened to get somebody who actually really cared because sometimes I don't have a
Yeah.
regular doctor and I just got this older woman who really cared because they had to run a full suite of tests as well just to make sure that it was not like
Yeah.
art
Hmm.
related um, who actually helped me put forward the reasons why I needed to be moved from that position from a
Yeah.
medical level, which I know you know all about this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't to the intensity of anything that you've experienced, but it was pretty intense time for me too, um, because I was also being pushed out of a job in a way that I loved because I just didn't want to go into a more law enforcement type
Yeah.
role. Um, and so that sort of began the shift for me with all of that. But I feel like that's what I'm going through at the moment. And maybe as I left that corporate position and I'm tying off all of those, completing whatever I'm completing through that, I maybe underestimated how much integration or I don't know, transformation was going to occur through that. Because as I'm
Yeah.
speaking about it now, I'm actually really feeling like this link to the not being good enough. My best is, it didn't matter what I did, it wasn't enough because it was always like, you need to be this, you need to be that, you need to be doing this. Then I started tripping over myself and making the mistakes. So I was getting even harder on myself. Um, so how much all of that was sort of linked to this, also this swap out of all of that. And so how much my body is was still carrying around all of those experiences.
Yes.
And I feel like I just need to affirm in this moment for me, for my body, that we don't need to carry any of that anymore. Like we're in a completely different phase and cycle, and we don't need to carry that anymore.
No.
And I appreciate everything my body has done and has helped me cope and survive, because that's what it literally felt like. We were in survival mode for a really, really long time. And that I don't need that anymore, because this is the season of ease and peace. And control, I what's that saying? I call the shots.
Hmm.
Um, I'm in charge of everything now and don't answer to anyone
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, that feels good.
Okay. Yay. That
Thank
felt
you
really
for indulging
profound.
me. Yeah.
Hey?
But thank you for indulging that, because it felt like I needed to actually just
Yeah.
declare we don't need to hold that. Like my whole body just softened when I
If
said that.
it was like watching you just then come to this room, I could almost see it tick over. Like you were like, oh my God, having the realization of I didn't like, and you voiced it in some way of, I don't think I acknowledged or realized how much I actually needed to still release and let go from that identity that's connected
Mhm.
to that corporate job. Like you were in that role for a lot of years. That was a big chunk of your life. And like you said, it was also attached to that survival sort of part of your
Oh,
life,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Hugely.
So, and you're not in that anymore. Like you just proclaimed then, like I don't need to carry that. But it definitely, I felt that when you said all that as well. So thank you because we walk around carrying this stuff that's just still baggage from past versions of us that are linked to past identities, things that we've moved through. And when you were talking about, all the ways that you were made to feel and the things that you experienced and all of that in that role, it's like I could see sort of two, like I could see it for what it was in
Mm.
its entirety, as in the whole, I could hear screaming at me because it's the same as me when I look back at my time in the police, that it was just that job was not in alignment with, like, you weren't on your path, your mission path, if you like. It wasn't in full
No.
alignment with what your soul is here to do. It served a purpose, absolutely. We've all done things that have served a purpose,
Hmm.
but that's what I could hear was the overriding voice was like, yeah, well, hello, like that's not what you was meant to be fucking doing. But you needed to do that, and you also there's a purpose around experiencing what you experience, because now that's brought you to a place where you are able to release all of those. You've felt them, you've experienced them, and you're able to release all that now. And like you said, that's helping you crack your heart open, and you got to crack your heart open to
Hmm.
go within further, don't you? Like
Hmm.
that's part of the journey. So
Hmm.
I could see like there was purpose and
Oh,
power
yeah.
in all of it. But yeah, that big acknowledgement that you just made then was like, whoa, because I can tell you, I, when you are diagnosed with PTSD, essentially that's just carrying all of that old trauma and stuff around with you, and finding it challenging to let it go because it's like imprinted in you. But
Mm.
it keeps you in that, when you carry the old stuff around, it keeps you in that
Hmm.
cycle for so long. And your mind's like, you can feel the attachment to things, the old identity, all the things you just spoke about, the old, the ways that you felt and that brings on the anxiety. And yeah, it's we don't have to, like you said, there comes a point where you say, you know what, I don't have to. Like I dreamed for years, and this is only up until, I still occasionally have a random dream of where I'm still a cop. But I dreamed
Mm,
for years I was still in that job, you know?
yes.
Wake up and be like,
Mhm.
oh, no, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Like yeah, it's almost like a reminder of, hey, you
Mhm.
know, this is still sitting here kind of thing. Um,
Mm,
so, and yours being a corporate job where it wasn't like it was different to mine, as in mine full of trauma and stuff like
mm.
that. So you maybe don't think so deeply into it with a corporate position like you had, that there really is that much that you need to let go of, but there clearly is.
Well, and I think that now I'm bringing this forward and understanding the link. It's also reminding me too that there were elements of the job for a very long time. There were some different roles, but in this sort of maybe block of 10 years of that 22, where I was working in a position where I had to engage with people who maybe hadn't, how can I put this without giving too much? Um, so I had to actually kind of put a wall up. I kind of had to be very impassive and neutral because they were bringing a compassionate story, but I was working with
Yeah.
legislation
Uh-huh.
and law, and sometimes that required them to actually leave Australia
Yeah.
because they were not able to stay here. And, you know, regardless of how I felt about that, there was like, there was a job that had to be done. And it was hard because of my nature.
Oh, you're making me feel emotional. Yeah,
It
because I
was, it
relate to
was,
this so much.
yeah. And of course, there was plenty of people that, you know, it was, they, for very good reason that they
Yeah.
were not supposed to be here.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it was really challenging to be the face of that. And, you know, not anything to the extent that obviously you had in the
No.
police, but still to, you know, there was not a lot of compliments given, let's put it that way.
No, that's it's
There
not
was not a lot of
rewarding
positive
work.
feedback.
No, and like you said, when you've got that soft heart and you're sensitive and
Mm.
you're a massive empath, it's so hard to do that stuff sometimes because your compassion just overrides everything.
Yeah, and I never really understood because I fell into this role as like with this whole that whole industry I fell into or sector, and I was sure I was there for a reason. But it's
Yeah.
interesting when you said about the purpose that it served later on. It was
Yes.
actually really interesting because the survival piece is so key. Because also at that point in time, I was single parenting, so I was in survival mode in a way,
Yeah. Oh,
and
totally.
that I needed that um, flexibility, security, stability of that particular role, that job, the organization, to feel like I could do what I needed to do. And so, if I actually think about the timing of that, I had actually just done my diploma of kinesiology shortly before all of this started to change. And so, looking at it, I knew I wasn't supposed to be there, but I was not strong enough or brave enough to step away completely, because that would have been the time probably as well, or what it was asking of me, maybe. I don't know. I mean, maybe as you said, it was just showing me that it was not my path any longer. It's just interesting when I'm actually now thinking about the timing of all of that, and how that unfolded. And of course, as I sit here today, I actually wouldn't change a thing because I learned so much about
Yeah, exactly.
myself, and I'm here because of all of that.
Yeah.
And so it's actually really interesting to talk about it from this more neutral place, because I battled with that for a really long time, and I don't feel any regret, or I don't feel any anger, or anything, resentment
No.
towards it, because it all showed me and taught me and led me here. I mean, even the
Yes.
panic attack, even the
Yeah.
that the symptoms and those sorts of things. Like, I really feel in this moment a lot of gratitude, and I feel um, gratitude for my body for actually holding me through all of that. And yeah, but this sense today now, I'm feeling like just it's like it's okay, body, let it go, let it go. I
Yeah.
also feel like it's holding on in the weight in my body because I it doesn't matter what I do, I feel like my body is staying the same kind of weight. And I'm actually talking about this. I feel like a lot of that is being held in the weight and the um that heaviness, I don't know, even fluid buildup. Like
It's
I
a
feel like I've
protective measure too. It's just
yeah.
the body's way of protecting
Well,
itself.
yeah, I think I'm just realizing just how much in freeze energy or like freeze response that my body is in that I hadn't actually realized. Um, and this is the funny thing, is you would know as well with your diagnosis of PTSD, we can function so highly we don't even know
Mhm.
how highly functioning we are in this um, response state, reactive state.
Oh, it becomes
I've
normal, doesn't it? It
yeah. Yeah,
becomes
yeah.
normal, but it on the surface it's normal. You're highly functioning, but there comes the points when you just go to
Oh,
shit. You just absolutely
yeah,
crumble because your body just can't hold
absolutely.
it anymore, and you're crying in your bathroom on your bathroom floor behind closed doors, and then you're walking back out into the world the next day
Yeah,
like, hi, everything's fine, but
yeah,
inside you're just being eaten alive. But yeah, I think it sounds, I think you've just had a lot of realizations during this
yeah.
conversation.
I
And
have, I have. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, no. And I think because I remember when we were in Mount Shasta, you were saying to me that you used to do like strength training and stuff. And and you said, I think I might, look
Mhm.
at getting, I think you need to. I think you really need to start because as you were saying that, I was hearing like, yeah, there is definitely something about when you exercise, when you work your muscles, and you've got more energy flowing through your blood, through your muscles, through
Yeah,
your organs, through your cells. It's like they wake up. It's something
yeah.
that's almost the vision that I was being shown while you were saying that. That's the only reason I'm
Interesting.
now.
Mm,
Um, there is like maybe, show your body, do something different and
hmm.
show your body that it is strong and brave and capable and that it's safe now, and you can
Yeah.
fucking use it in new ways. And
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that.
yeah,
Thank you. Yes, I will take that on board
yeah.
because it feels like that would anchor this whatever has happened really nicely.
It does,
Um,
like
mm,
I've always had an obsession with exercise. I know obsession is not a good word, and I used to actually overuse exercise to
yeah.
as a
Well, I've been
mental
in that
health
too. Yeah,
coping
yeah.
mechanism. Yeah, to the point where it was like I was so dissociated from everything. I just used to
Hmm.
like go to the gym and but I didn't realize that what I was actually doing was processing
Yeah.
energy, like probably collective energy, because back then I had no idea how sensitive I was and all that. But it makes a lot more sense to me now. I was using it in different ways. I just didn't understand. But now it's like it's grounding. It helps you connect and anchor into your body.
Hmm.
It brings you into presence because you got to fucking concentrate when you're trying to lift up something heavy or you know what I mean? Or like when you're doing
Yeah.
cardio type stuff, like you're
Hmm.
feeling like your breath and
Hmm.
you're pushing, like it's just there's something really spectacular about exercise and especially with where we're at embodiment and
Yeah.
getting back into the body and really feeling the body.
Yeah, definitely. I need to prioritize that. And I'm making that commitment to my body today that we will
Yay.
do that.
Or something. God, you don't have to do that, but yeah, find something that
No, but you're like it's funny because that did come through actually earlier this morning when I was having a conversation with my body because this, as I said, all of this has been kind of um, c- gathering
yeah,
clarity over the last couple of days. And yesterday, with this raft of sessions that were all very like reflecting back to me all of this information. So it was like, okay, body, well, listening and what do you want to say? And I think there's something too that I remember from strength training too that made me feel strong. It
yes,
empowered me.
it's empowering. It makes you
Yeah,
feel your body feels strong and I have always have to stay strong.
yeah,
And like I said, I've used it in the wrong ways in the past, but it's helped me to feel strong and maybe carry strength when I didn't fucking actually have it or really feel it
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
But there's also so many things that have dropped in for me over the years around the connection to the muscles and like your
Yeah.
DNA and
Yeah.
like having a strong body is yeah, it's to do with, the work that you do. You're a fucking space holder. You're a presence.
Mhm.
You're a pillar. Like, yeah. So,
I also feel like the most present soul aspect, let's say, like the strongest,
yeah.
but all of them coming in and the presence of my oversoul, it's also commanding something different in my body.
Yes.
And I feel like it just feels like, okay, it's time now. It's,
Time to,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, like sometimes you end up focusing on one or the other, and it feels like, okay, we've
Yep.
done all of this sort of the energetic, emotional, mental, and now let's really get that physical. Let's get that
Yeah.
pillar
Yeah.
of where this is. And
Yeah.
obviously, it's about longevity, isn't it? It's about health, moving through stages like menopause and later stages of life.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, maybe transcending some of that. Because as I
For
said, I'm
sure.
really recreating the reality about this stage and later stages of life. I really feel like I want to recreate that for my reality. That
Yeah.
I want my timeline to look a particular way.
Yes.
Mm.
Definitely. Yeah. It's, yeah, I can't. There's too many benefits to working with your body, and like that's part of what you do too, like you have this innate connection to the
Mm.
body. But it's like, have you had this innate connection to helping other people with their bodies and getting into their bodies and that, but
Yeah,
you've kind of fucking neglected the importance of it for yourself. But it's like you said, we
yeah,
go through these cycles. I've gone through cycles before, where I didn't exercise much. I'd only go walking, and for me that's not very much.
yeah.
For a year. And then you notice the changes in your diet. You're like, oh fuck, I don't want to eat that anymore. Or like
Hmm.
things
Hmm. Hmm.
change as the
Yeah.
body's like calling for something different. So yeah.
Well, what was super interesting as well, when I said I had this feeling of like just wanting to rip out of my body, and I was
Yeah.
like, what do you need to be seen in? What do you need to be witnessed in? And what I was hearing too was this kind of the inner voice of me, almost like pushing the buttons and the trigger points to get me to abandon myself because that was their self-protection because I always abandon myself.
Yeah.
And so it was really interesting to be like, oh, okay, this is me showing that love and acceptance for all of the times and the parts of me that I abandoned because I put someone or something else
Before you.
before me. And like you said, I can support other people to do this, but it is not necessarily front and center for me. And of course, it has to be because that's why I'm doing what I'm doing is leading by that example. And so it feels like a little bit of this. You can hear my voice changing as I'm talking about
Yeah.
this. And my voice gives me away every time.
Yeah.
Um, and part of that is also empowering that voice and not abandoning that. But it's the body as well. Because when you were talking about that and reminding me of how I used to be avid in the gym and how that dropped away. My body feels abandoned from that because my body really enjoyed that. It felt that
Yeah.
strength and empowerment. So it's interesting, like when we break it down, um, because also there's a piece here about the self responsibility because it would be easy. And I know a lot of clients would love it to be ancestral or some past life or something that's not them, but what I'm really getting a strong message of this month too is that we have the key to our personal freedom and liberation because it's this stuff, it's our inner relationship, it's the way we show up for ourselves, that and how we navigate that. So my key in the moment the other day was to witness this voice and to say, well, I'm not going to abandon you. this is shit, but
Yeah.
I'm going to not abandon you. We're in this together. And I put some loud house music in my ears. I went for a
Yes.
walk. Actually, um, it was something. It was, actually, I don't know if it was even house. I had something with some really loud bass, not spiritual music
Some
whatsoever.
EDM or yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I had really loud in my ears, and I walked, and I remembered how music gives me life, even though maybe it's not the best spiritual music,
oh, who cares?
but
Gosh, yeah.
the bass I felt in my heart, and I could feel the resonance of that just shaking and
Yes.
shifting as I walked. And that literally, oh, like 45 minutes later, I could feel already like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. That those parts of me settled a little bit to allow
Yeah.
me to drop into a little
Yeah,
bit more
you
stillness
shifted
and
it.
connect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, music's powerful in that way, definitely. Definitely.
Mm.
And you go through moods of like, yeah, sometimes you just like, I just need to like me. I'm like, I need to fucking crank some Metallica today, right now.
Yes.
Or some Rage Against
Yes.
the Machine. Like I listen to, yeah, definitely. The only time I listen to spiritual music is when I'm doing client sessions and sometimes in the car on my own. I'm like, do you know what? I need to just decompress and I'll
Yeah.
put on some frequency music and just speak light
Yeah.
language or whatever, like I'm so random. I'm like, I know you probably are too, but yeah. It can shift. That's the power of sound, isn't it? And frequency.
Mhm.
It can
Yeah.
shift things immensely for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
and really, really
absolutely.
quickly.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's cool. And this is when I was hearing you talk, all I kept hearing was this is your season now, Ali. This is the season of Ali. You've got Keely, although she's still your baby and she's still there with you and everything. She's getting into she's moving into
Yeah.
adulthood. Things are changing
Yeah.
for her. She's not going to be relying on you so much.
Yeah.
Um, you've stepped out of your job, you're running your own business now, you're doing your own thing, you're your own boss. You get to do what the fuck you want to do now.
Hmm.
Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah,
things have changed when you look at it as a whole. This is the season
definitely.
of you. So give yourself that time to work with your body however feels good, or this is this is this is the season of you now.
And I think it's also letting it go at its own pace. Like I'm hearing as you're talking, then it's like let it unfold. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to happen in 1 week or 2 weeks.
No.
Sometimes we have a time frame.
Yeah.
It's like enjoying that process a little bit as well.
You watch, someone's going to come to you and go, hey, like, have you seen this gym? Or do you want to come and do a Pilates class? Or you watch something will happen now, I bet. Something will just drop into your field that's, yeah.
Well, I'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us in this space of truth, reflection, and connection. If today's conversation stirred something within you, we invite you to sit with it, journal on it, or share it with someone who walks the path of self-awareness too.
These conversations are living transmissions, and we are so grateful to be on this journey with you. Until next time, remember your human experience is sacred and you are never walking alone.
With love, Lauren
And Ali.